Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you already know, this is your U.S. General. 5-drawer tool cart with side tray and deep compartment. Today is Friday, as you can see. We now back over at the storage unit, getting back to it, getting busy as always, okay? As you can see, my guy gave me a little call this morning, so I had to run out real quick and meet him. So I was on a Snap-on truck. Unfortunately, my battery was running low, so I couldn't, catch much footage the way that I would have liked. All right. But in today's video segment, we are going to take a look at a couple of things. Did pick up, a few things from off the truck, just as well as I'm also going to do a long-term review on the Milwaukee Underhood light, just as well as the Milwaukee Rover Lumen lights, which is well overdue. All right. But I ain't going to hold you up too much more longer in the introductory of things. But as I always state, as usual, I always keep my signature lingering somewhere in the background. My Dunkin' Donuts coffee. You already know. Okay? So pretty much I'm about to get quite a few things out to the top of the tool cart, and we're going to dive right in. So walk with me. Let's get it. All right, while I was on the truck this morning, I had the need, to pick up another set, which I did state in a previous video. So I had to pick up another set of SAE standard semi-deeps. As you can see, the part number is 312IMS. This is a 12-piece semi-deep impact socket set. All right, just as well as I picked up, couple of other different things. As you can see, I will go more further into depth with another particular video amongst some of these catalogs that I basically picked up this morning. As you can see, this is the Snap-on supplemental products. All right, just as well as its monthly catalog here for February. The Dream and Drive 3. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to move along into this long-term review of the Milwaukee Underhood light, just as well as the Milwaukee Rover Lumen lights. So let's get it. Okay, moving over here to the side tray, what we're looking at is your Milwaukee Rover Lumen lights, just as well as the headlamp. All right. When it comes to these Milwaukee Lumen lights, they have served me very well. Okay, these are non-tool truck brand equipment, and as you can see over here, they have a magnetic base towards the end here, where you can see that it sticks. Okay. This particular lumen light here runs off of two different modes. You would actually have your power button here, your USB support here. All right, these lights are very bright, as you can see on high and then on low. So, for this particular light, it actually has two settings. I believe that the headlamp has 3 to 4 settings, and this particular Rover light here has 3 settings. This also has a magnetic base, as you can see here, and you can also incline this to the inside where that if you technically need to hang it somewhere. All right, towards the back end, you have your power button, and then you have USB support. All right, so on these particular lights, you would have your high mode, your low mode, well, semi-low, and then this is the low. Okay, just as well is your headlamps. So this would be on high, semi-low on a second setting, third and fourth towards the end. When it comes to these particular lights right here, these are some of my most commonly used lamps and lumen lights. All right, I do have a variety and a different assortment and arrangement of lights from Snap-on, just as well as their aluminum housing light, just as well as their wireless system light. All right, but when it comes to these Milwaukee Lumen lights, these are my most primary go-tos throughout my day's time. When I am working, I normally keep this in my pocket all the time. I don't necessarily always have it stored at the tool chest. When it comes to working, I normally work up top with this light or this particular light. When it comes to the Snap-on aluminum housing light, all right, I mainly more use that when I'm working underneath the vehicle. All right, depending upon if I'm working with a lift or if I'm not working with a lift, at times I may go to particular headlamps. This is not the only particular headlamp that I actually have. I actually have another headlamp, just as well as I have lamps that are connected to gloves that I wear over my gloves in dark spaces, which I will also demonstrate and show a little bit of those too, just as well. But just to get out the Snap-on real quick, to get a little side-by-side comparison with some of the other lights. When it comes to the Snap-on is a 700 lumen light. So this would be your lumen light from Snap-on, which is 700 lumens. The part number here is ECPRA072. Okay, and as you can see here is your power settings button. Up top is also provided by USB support. All right, as you can see, a DC 5-volt. So these particular lights are very nice, very useful. They come in handy, when needed and when called upon. In most cases, when it comes to technicians, they're very familiar with this particular light. This is a light that's commonly lost, around shops, whether working underbody, undercarriage. Sometimes they're left underneath the hood from its magnetic base. You can get the working and things like that and tend to forget to leave it underneath a customer's car. These range, roughly between $90, $100. I believe they became a little bit cheaper. They used to be a little bit more expensive and premium, but I think now that they're in the range of the $90 to $100 range. I've had it for quite some time, just as well as I do have other particular lights. But the Milwaukee lights have been my most commonly used. Like I stated, when I am working on top, I'm working mainly more with these two particular lights right here. And when I'm working underneath, I would use this light. This light also adjusts at different angles. Okay. So just to give you, a little example of the wireless system from Snap-on, just as well as, quite a few other lights that I basically use when doing particular service. Okay, so just to give you, a little quick example of the Snap-on wireless system that comes with a magnetic base, all right, it also provides with USB support. The part number for this wireless system is ECFLPRA350, okay? So what you would have here is this particular light, all right? All right. And then you have this light here also, which adjusts, but it's not as durable and as rugged as the aluminum body. I've had these for quite some time, just as well. Haven't really did a long-term review. When it comes to this particular set right here, this is the light that is mainly more commonly used, testically compared to that particular light right there. When it comes to that light, I prefer to use my Milwaukee because it's more thinner in design. All right. And the construction is a little bit different between the two. The Milwaukee light is, very, very bright. Like I state, I normally don't keep this particular light always connected to the card. I mainly more keep that particular light directly on me, on my person. All right. So once again, this is the wireless system. As far as what you're taking a look at here. All right. Once again, the part number for this particular item right here is ECFLPRA350. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move along to the underhood light, and we're gonna get a good preview of that. Let's get it. Now, when it comes to the Milwaukee underhood light, it comes in a two-piece settings, and as you can see, the hold down mount, it stretches outwards. The underhood light runs off of two different modes, which is a high mode and a low mode. These Milwaukee underhood lights are 1300 lumens. For quite a while, when I would be on the Snap-on truck, periodically I would always be eyeballing the Snap-on underhood light. But when it came down to purchasing it, because the Snap-on light has a heavy premium on it, and their lights, when it comes to this design right here, I believe that they're only 800 lumens, compared to the Milwaukee's 1300 lumens. So I felt the need to lean in the direction of the Milwaukee underhood light, specifically for its battery platform, just as well as it being very versatile and a whole lot much more convenient. Normally when I'm running this light, I'm normally using 4.0 batteries and 6.0 batteries, but when it comes to the 6.0, will be the best bang for your buck when it comes to runtime. Now, when it comes to Milwaukee batteries, all right, the premiums on their batteries are quite expensive, and when it comes to certain particular tools, some of the batteries can over exceed some of the value when it comes to just the tools itself. All right, but as you can see in a lot of my videos, I have a lot of Milwaukee equipment when it comes to cordless impacts, to die grinders, to the M18 Super HD Super Sawzall, the M18 straight angle, and things like that. So when it comes to the battery platform, I have a lot of different batteries for, a lot of different tools. And most tools I have, 2 to 3 different batteries for each tool. So when it comes to these underhood lights, as you can see how it can adjust from side to side. All right. And then you can spin it. Okay. And adjust it. Here you have your power mode, and then you have your setting mode. So right at the prior moment, it was on high. Now it's on low. All right. When it comes to the Snap-on design, with its mounting bracket is basically designed a little bit different than Milwaukee's. It actually clamps into like a particular type loop. The Milwaukee design does not have a loop design. All right, so I'm gonna get the underhood light down. I'm gonna get it to the cart, and we're gonna take a different look at it. Let's get it. All right, so I have had these Milwaukee Lumen lights for quite some time, using them day in, day out, whether in shop or outside of shop, just as well as me having some of my equipment stored at a storage unit. All right, and for the price that I paid for this, when I basically did, it did benefit me a whole lot more than that succeeded my expectations. Like I stated, when it comes to this particular light, I do really like this compared to the Snap-ons 800 lumen light that runs off, I believe, what is that, the 14.4 battery line. All right. When it comes to the battery design for these particular lights, run off the M12. So there's different type designs. Like I state, the batteries that I normally run in this particular light is the 4.0, just as well as the 6.0s that you will see here, which is the red lithium, the XCs. So when it comes to the 6.0s, you get excellent runtime. Even with some of the 2.0s and 3.0s, depending upon, what type of work that you are doing, and, how you're utilizing the light, whether you're leaving it on, for a substantial amount of time, whether on high settings, the 2.0s and the 3.0s could go, kind of quick. but on low settings you can get, you know, a little decent reasonable runtime on them. But your 4.0s and your 6.0s are the best bet. All right, like I stated, that the batteries do have a premium on them. All right, but if you know, if you have other tools, you know, it's more than often that you will basically have this particular light on for a long extended period of time, unless you're working in, you know, a dark area. Most of the majority of the time I'm in a high volume facility where, you know, we have good bright lighting systems and things like that. But when you do have vehicles up on the lift, you know, this comes in handy, just as well as this also comes in handy for not just exterior but interior inside the vehicle, if you're doing like diagnostic work and things like that, or electrical work, or, you know, if you work in a body shop and things like that of that nature. All right, once again, how I was showing you how this slides back and forth. Okay, and you can spin it around. At the prior moment, I actually have the snap-on up in the air, all right, connected. So what I'll do is I'll cut out the snap-on so you can get a better effect of the Milwaukee. All right, so I'll get up over here, cut that out. Okay, at the prior moment I'm running off of 2 bars on this particular light. All right now the underhood light is running off the 4.0 battery. All right, and this is your mode setting here. So now the light is on high, and inside the storage unit it is dark. Okay, so it is brightening everything up. So as you can tell, you know, I always keep it overhead because it, you know, illuminates the whole room when I have it overhead, rather than me just leaving it on the cart and using it on the cart, you know, when I'm recording just like this. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move along to the next following lights that I normally have hanging with inside the cart. If you never got an opportunity to see them, I will pull them out again and, you know, give you a little quick demonstration. But as far as, you know, this particular light right here, like I said, this light has been used day in, day out. I have benefited from it. All right, I have absolutely no issues with it. I've never had any issues with the batteries or anything like that. So I am giving this particular light my recommended, you know, approval and my thumbs up to Milwaukee for that one right there. All right, so we're gonna move along. Let's get it. All right, in the past I have showed, you know, these particular lights just as well. These are some particular lights that I use, that I wear over my gloves. When times when, if say for instance, if I didn't have, you know, certain particular magnetic based lights, in some cases you do run into vehicles that have plastic shields and things like that up underneath the vehicle. So sometimes it's not always easy to find a good location, you know, to get in your magnetic lumen lights. And, you know, if you basically do not necessarily have an individual around, you know, to hold the light in a particular area for you, sometimes, you know, I use these right here over my gloves. All right, these are kind of bright in, you know, in dark spaces at the prior moment, because I actually have the lumen light on. I'll cut out the light so that you can get a better example, all right, or dimming the light. So, you know, this is how they would be over my gloves. All right, so what I'll do is cut this out real quick. So as you can see, all right. So, you know, if you were in dark spaces, dark location, all right, this is how things would basically look. You know, if I needed to get in a certain area up underneath a vehicle, or I need access with both of my hands, and, you know, I cannot just basically, you know, hold a tool and, you know, hold a flashlight at the same time. If I can't get the magnetic base in where I basically need to get them in. All right, so sometimes, you know, these are a good option. I don't know whether, you know, some people have seen these before. I didn't pay that much for these. You can pick things up like this on wish.com, all right, if you're interested. I'm not sponsored by, any company or any brand like this. I always demonstrate my own equipment, all right? And, all my equipment is purchased directly with my own money. I'm not sponsored by no tool brand or no tool company or anything like that, all right? So that's mainly more what that is, all right? So when it comes to the Milwaukee, Rover lights, just as well as the Underhood light, um, in my personal opinion, for them to not be a tool truck brand, even though, some of the lights do have a particular type premium on them. Once again, I absolutely have had not one issue with any of these lights. They work very well. Once again, they are my most commonly used, even though I do have, tool truck brand equipment and of a different assortment of lights, different arrangement of lights, as you can see. All right. So, for those individuals out there, if you are looking to get good quality lighting systems, I would suggest these right here. All right. When it comes to the headlamps and things like that, you will mainly more see a lot of individuals in a construction field, electrical or plumbing field that, will mainly more use those. It's not to say that we do not use them in the automotive field. All right. They are used just as well. But, they are very good lights, so I will give them, my sign of approval when it comes to that. And like I said, the Underhood light was definitely, a well worth purchase. Did serve me very well. All right. So like I did state, the batteries do have a little premium on them, when it comes to the lighting system. But if you do have a different assortment and variety, of certain particular tools, all right, it could benefit you. All right. As you can see, I have a lot of different cordless equipment, just as well as I have pneumatic impact equipment, but the cordless is not my main first go-to. All right. So we're going to end this video right about now. Everybody enjoy your Friday. Have a safe and a blessed weekend as always. And this is your U.S. General 5-drawer tool cart with side tray and deep compartment. And until that next tool review, that next modification video, we're going to check later. Peace.